Hello, everybody. This is Mike, and today is Sunday, July 7th, 2024. And most of you won't be seeing this till I publish the newsletter Monday morning to hit your desk when you're logging into your computers after hopefully you had a wonderful 4-day weekend for 4th of July, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and back to work. Okay, so this will not be a very long video. We're going to be talking about this New York State removes requirement for notarization of affidavits and sworn documents in civil cases. So they're eliminating some notary work. Will this impact you? We'll talk about this and nothing really to be concerned about. So New York Governor Kathy Hochul signed the notary bill into law. The bill removes the requirement for notarization of affidavits and sworn documents in civil cases in New York state courts. The law went into effect on January 1st, 2024. So that was 7 months ago. I'm just finding out about it. Maybe you haven't heard about this. Probably not. It's kind of obscure news. But anyway, it's talking about civil cases. So, we're not talking about criminal court. We're talking about civil court only. So this only affects people that are getting things notarized because they have to submit perhaps evidence and sign it, or a statement and sign it. Maybe they got a subpoena for civil court. Civil court's an argument over money and services and that kind of a thing. Civil matters and criminal court, we all know what that is. So this does not relieve the need to have your signature notarized in front of a notary under penalty of perjury for criminal court, only for civil court. And we'll get into the depth here on this next slide. So this just shows you what the bill looks like. See how small it is? It's a very small bill. And it was introduced by Senator Holliman-Segal, and it's an act to amend the civil practice law and rules. So it amends the law, and you can see they put it in red and crossed out here so that you could see what was amended. They actually eliminated words from it, and what they're eliminating here I'll talk about on the next slide. Basically, they took a small group of people that had more entitlement, where they didn't have to go through the hassle of having a notary witness their evidence or statements for civil court. And it broadened it by eliminating them in the language, so that it now applies to everybody. And that's beneficial. Let's talk about why and why that's good for our society in general. So previously, Rule 2106 of the Civil Practice Law and Rules, called CPLR 2106, only exempted two groups from the notarized affidavit requirement. And I find these groups pretty interesting. So the first group is attorneys, physicians, osteopaths, and dentists. So why are attorneys eliminated? I can only speculate, probably because attorneys are officers of the court, and civil court is what we're talking about, civil proceedings, so that makes sense. They don't need to take an affidavit. They're already sworn in under their office, the officer of the court, oath of office as an attorney and counsel at law in New York State. And then the next two, they said physicians and osteopaths, as if they're two different things. Physicians and osteopaths are all physicians, so I don't get why they had to specifically in a statute separate physicians and osteopaths. Kind of interesting. If anybody has any idea why, go ahead and comment. That would be very interesting. And then we have dentists. So these are all professional categories. I don't know why these three. And then the fourth one, the fourth one makes a lot of sense. Expats. These are persons physically located outside the geographic boundaries of the United States or any territory subject to the United States jurisdiction. So say you're living in Panama and you got to get something, notarized because you're being sued in civil court back in New York, and there's no notary available. So the state made it so if you were in an expat situation and a civil court proceeding for New York, you didn't have to get it notarized. You could just sign it, like the attorneys, physicians, osteopaths, and dentists. And those were the ones that were crossed out because they're not eliminated. They still don't have to sign, but now everybody doesn't have to sign in front of a notary. We all have to sign, but not in front of a notary. Okay, so New York joined over 20 other states that have eliminated the notarization requirement in civil court cases. It does not appear to eliminate criminal court cases. The bill is an effort to make civil litigation more accessible for low-income New Yorkers. Now that makes sense. With limited means who often struggle to pay for the notarization process. And I know that makes some people mad because there is a certain group that has been contacting me to endorse raising the notary fee in New York State for when they come to you, and I didn't want to do it. I've always been on the side of the people that can't afford to have something notarized, all right? Doesn't mean a notary doesn't have great benefits and can't make a good income. So this issue became more prevalent during the pandemic. While the court system began allowing digital notarizations during the pandemic, those without access to the proper technology could not submit a notarized statement online. It's $25 to have your signature notarized online. Additionally, the notarization process is burdensome for New Yorkers living in rural areas of the state with limited access to the notary. Such issues both slow down litigation in New York and require litigants to pay more out-of-pocket expenses. So there's poor people that can't afford to hire a traveling notary to come on over to them, and they got to get something notarized for civil. Maybe it's for their benefits. And then there's people rural upstate New York out in the boondocks. Okay, so that's good for them, and I think that makes more sense than just lawyers, physicians, osteopaths, and dentists. Okay, so, and the fees involved, again, are online notaries can charge $25 per signature notarized from New York State to any other state from New York State, even to other countries like Panama. So now that guy in Panama, if it's a civil matter, won't have to hire an online notary for $25. He can just sign it. So when a person visits or travels to New York notaries, the fee is limited to $2 per signature. And of course, you all know that when a notary is hired to travel to somebody in New York State, the fee can be quite high because it's unregulated. The notary has travel expenses and personal time involved. So I've seen, online notaries charge more than $25 because they can do 3 or 4 signatures in one session. And then traveling notaries might be going to have one signature done for $100 because it's whatever the fair market will bear, whatever you negotiate with the person before you travel out to them. I mean, that's not regulated. So each New York County clerk shall also designate from members of his or her staff at least one notary public to notarize for the general public free of charge during normal business hours. So it might be hard for that poor person, who needs to get something notarized to get down to the county clerk, all right? But it's free of charge during normal business hours there. And it is not mandatory for a notary public to even charge a fee. Normally, notaries do not charge company clients and coworkers fee if they're like working on the 35th floor, and in their company, and their clients are coming up and they're having something notarized, or their coworkers or their boss, right? They don't charge fees. So people doing notary as a traveling notary, or perhaps a loan signing agent, or an online notary business, they're the ones charging the fees, and rightfully so. They're trying to make a living. Everybody's got to make a living. A lot of people get this notary license to make a living, or to supplement their career, or to gain job security, or to get respect at the place of employment, which a lot of you do, because there's like an over 60% failure rate on this exam, and we have less than 1% fail, but that's pretty outstanding when you put up that notary privilege in front of your coworkers, all right? It's pretty impressive. So the bill allows any person in a civil action pending in a case in New York, in a New York State court, to affirm the truth of their statement without going through the notarization process. The affirmation will have the same force and effect as an affidavit. To affirm the truth of a statement, the statement must be subscribed and affirmed by the person to be true and under penalties of perjury. So it will still be under penalty of perjury, but no notary will be required. Once again, this is only for New York civil courts. So this is not the same affidavit / affirmation which they do in front of a notary that we learned when we got licensed. The affirmation in that process is an alternate to swearing. It's affirming. This is a different affirmation where the person is all alone without a notary and they're signing something that says they affirm under penalty of perjury, and they sign it. Perhaps you've signed those before. I have signed those before. So the big question you all should be having now is this a trend? Is this the way New York State's going? Will this eliminate the need for New York Notaries Public? And the answer is no worries. That is not a drop in the bucket. New York Notaries Public are more in demand than ever. And for those of you that are at companies, you wish they would get another notary trained up because you have too much work. And the trend is more and more and more and ever more things need to be notarized. I always chalk it up to more and more bureaucracy and more job ads where they want the person to either have a notary or get a notary license within a few months of employment. I get those calls all the time from people. That's how they find me. They're in a new job, they're excited, and they got to get this thing, and they're scared to get ready for this exam because there's horror stories about it. So, on our website, we have the updated exam schedules. I just want you to know that now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in advance. Up until now, for the last year, they only had 3 months at a time. And there's 12 testing locations: Albany, Binghamton, Buffalo, Franklin Square in Long Island, Hop Hog in Long Island, New York City. Kind of interesting to note that like Albany only has 3 exams in July, but look at Long Island and New York City. Look at New York City in July, the 11th, 16th, 23rd, 24th, 29th, and 30th, all at 11 a.m. When you go to this exam, it only takes you 15 or 20 minutes if you've been through our prep, and they give you an hour. And here's the other locations. Plattsburgh came back. They had eliminated Plattsburgh. It's back. Pomona, Rochester, Syracuse, Onondaga. They have it twice. 2 addresses: the Union Hall and Hughes State Office Building, and Utica. All right. So once again, thanks for watching this video. Go to our website. If you need this notary license wall display, it's framed, and it comes framed and gives your license information, never expires. Put that up on your cubicle at work or your I Love Me wall at home. You need logbooks now in New York State. For those of you that haven't been watching the newsletters, you have to now have a journal and keep it for 10 years and log everything you do. You don't want to get in trouble and lose your license for that. If you're renewing your license and you need to get your new stamp and seal or notary supplies, come to our website, How to Become a Notary in New York, in NY.com. Call me, Mike, at 347-427-9091, extension 1 to avoid the menu, to ask any questions. If you've been a notary for years and years and years and something comes in front of you and you have a question about what the law says, give me a call. Good to hear from you folks we did the class with such a long time ago. For those of you that are here to get licensed, you might want a sample practice exam, and if you feel like you need some help, we have our New York online notary class, which is award-winning in New York State for best adult education for several years online, and testimonials. Also, we have the remote online notary course for you existing notaries to upgrade, and I hope to see you all and hear from you all soon. So once again, go to www.howtobecomeanotaryinny.com. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all of you for spending your valuable time with us. I hope you have a great week. Please like, comment, and share. And of course, please subscribe. Helps our algorithm. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.